coach Brad Korn, and I want to jump down to Brad right away. And then Amanda, if you can handle the moderation of the speakers, I would love that if you're in a position to do such. But let's have Brad Korn share about nurturing creativity, and then let's like shower him with a song and whatever else comes up after that. So Brad, what do you got for us today?
Hey, really, you can pass on the song for me if you'd like to. No, I'm kidding. I've been on many of them.
One of the most creative things we can do in this room.
That is true. Let's see how creative you can get today. Well, Don, that was funny that you were just talking about Meatloaf and all that, because I remember even just watching the movie about Queen. I can't remember what it was called. And we're talking about this creativity thing. And when I was watching the movie and the behind the scenes when Queen was being formed, how creative, like they created opera out of rock and roll and became one of the most famous bands of all time as well. So I love that creativity stuff. And along with what Amanda said, it makes it easy for me to nurture my creativity because I have never left my childlike curiosity and childlike brain that I have. I always say, I'm 16, I'm 16, I'm 13, and I just act like I'm, 13 years old all the time. But what has nurtured mine is I am a creative mind. I'm a left-handed guy, right-hand brain. Loved art in high school and was really into all that stuff. And I mean, I am open to everything. I'm absorbing everything around me. Every time there's like, I watch commercials. If the TV's even on, I watch commercials more than I do the show. And I'm just looking at how they filmed it. And I always ask my wife these crazy questions like, so what do you think they did that? And she's like, well, who even thinks about that? Why do you think about that stuff? And it's just that creativity is always on and I'm always looking. So just to kind of add some value today, going through annual planning and been sharing some things on creating value proposition with a business network group that I have here locally and with a lot of agents and mortgage people that I'm coaching. Talking about value proposition, I always say, like, think about what are the two or three things that you do, that you bring to anybody you serve that your competitors absolutely cannot say. So we're going to kick creativity juices in high gear right now. What are the three things that you do that your competitor absolutely cannot say they do? And when you start thinking about that, it's like, whoa, if you start listing out all the stuff you do, I put it through the filter of, can my competitors say they do it? And there's a lot of them that can say they do it, but they don't. But what's so like creative and so off the chart that they can't even say they can do it? So an example of that would be in my real estate business. I have an instant on listing program. Like literally, if I'm sitting with a seller, within 1 hour of leaving your house, you sign these papers and you hire me to sell your property, we will have full blown 99 photos, all the details, every single space filled in on the MLS sheet when we list it into our multiple list service. And you will have showings right away because we fill in every single blank. We do it within an hour. We do everything there at the first stop. And what's just being aware. So like, for example, where that came from, my brother was going to like merge into my business at one point. This is maybe like 10 years ago. And he was here and he wasn't working. So he was shadowing me for like a month. So I'd take him along on the listing appointments. Well, while we were sitting down talking about the paperwork, he was running around measuring the house and doing all the stuff and getting all the details and which rooms had carpet, all that other stuff. And we literally listed houses like immediately. Like we would leave the house and go put them on and we'd get showings right away. We did that for a couple of months and I'm like, wow, that is amazing. So now we've got the instant on listing program. So I love that, when Amanda shared that Albert Einstein, this creativity stuff, man. Albert Einstein, we all know he was a total nut, right? Everybody thought he was crazy. So I love being in that mindset and that frame. And when you had said creativity is intelligence, having fun, and then we talked about staying in that childlike curiosity. I'm like, intelligence and 13 years old. Those are two great combinations, at least in my world. So I'm glad to be here, celebrate my birthday with you guys. And hopefully that was helpful.
Woo! Come on with it. Come on with it. That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. And the old what necessity is the mother of invention is in some ways that same kind of thing, right? We ask a question: how do we make this happen? We look at what changed in COVID. And how many new services, how much better service is. The fact you can just pull up and people bring you stuff to your car. I mean, like all these things would have not happened. I say never, but they wouldn't have happened without some push. And yet, watch how creative people get. Let's see, what are we going to do with this? And bam, we got a new solution. And so I think we're witnessing, and I love your examples, Brad. But now that we've got you on stage, and before we go to everybody else that's out there, can we do a song for this guy? Can we just let's see who else has got a birthday today? Anybody else?
Me.
Come on with it.
The mic. Let's open the mic.
Hey,
This could be really bad. This could be really bad.
it is already going to be a little better because I'm not going to join in and sing to myself. So you guys are going to sound great today.
And let's get Tony and Sam in here. We got to get
I know the great baritones.
I'm here. I'm
all right, baby.
McKenna.
I'll hold down my end of out of tune.
All right, here we go. All right, so I'll start off. Happy birthday to you.
Cha cha cha. Happy birthday to you. Cha cha cha. Birthday to
Coach Corn.
Happy birthday to
Clubhouse.
you. Cha cha cha.
You guys brought tears to my eyes.
Yeah.
Only because it hurt.
Because your ears were hurting so badly.
You guys were awesome. Thank you.
That's classic. Now, by the way, you've got that on the replay, so you will want to take that and let your wife listen to that because she will be so proud that. Listen, buddy, I'm glad you're here. It's a fun reconnection for you and me after all these years. I'm guessing 20 plus years, and I don't even know when to go back to, but anyway, that we get to play now in Clubhouse, that you've become such a regular, and we love having you on stage. And of course, I just love the heart you share, and have been with you on some of your toughest days, and have been following you for a long time. And you're great at what you do, but you're great at sharing your heart too, and that's what I think is the most important part. Love you, brother. Glad you're here.
You bet. Love you guys too, all of you.
My life is better because you're in it, Planet Brad. The first time that I went to Planet Brad, I said, I don't know about this teleportation machine. I don't know if I can trust it. 3, 2, 1, blast off. And I was there, and I mean, your contribution day in, day out is incredible. And I just think that getting to know you when we've had our one-on-one calls is just beautiful. And you have such heroism as a servant leader. And I really just, from my heart, I really appreciate who you are as a person. So thank you.
Oh, it's been great getting to know you.
Yeah, ditto. You're just the bee's knees, Coach Corn.
Always appreciate your energy and the enthusiasm and the inquisitiveness that you bring to the conversation. You always share a new aspect and a new angle. So thank you for bringing that to the table.
He is very childlike, isn't he? I mean, it's really, if we think about his Planet Brad, and on Planet Brad, here's how things are. I mean, he's got a very innovative way of doing things, and Brad, that's what we're talking about, right? You're just a big kid at heart. I love the way you play, so it's really cool. Tony, anybody else?
Always happy to have you on here, Brad, sharing your wisdom, man. Appreciate you. And listen, every time I hear you, I think about that handwritten card you sent me. So that is a big one, by the way. And I was actually just sharing that with someone the other day. Someone new in the business that said, listen, especially when you're new, of course, this really goes for should be 100% of the time. But I said, especially when you're new, you got all the time in the world to send out those handwritten cards. I shared the story that you sent me one, and that is powerful. So appreciate the reminder of that. And keep spreading, keep spreading your wisdom and your knowledge and your heart with everybody, man. Appreciate you.
I want to say I also got a handwritten note from Brad, and it meant so much to me. I felt so, he just reached out and sent me a great note. So thank you, Brad. Happy birthday today on Clubhouse, and you made my day.
Brad, you're in big trouble, man. I'm thinking, I never saw a handwritten card.
I think you probably did a while back. I'm still waiting on an address for you, and I would send one.
That's lame. Okay, whatever.
No, hey, here's the funny thing
You know
about
what's great about Brad is that it's like he's like your brother. It's like he's instant family. You know, and because Brad, you're so open and, you know, trusting and just such a great servant leader, and you just always bring the joy. You laugh at yourself. You give people permission to laugh at their self, and you know, I just wanted to share that also. I couldn't speak before because I was surrounded by dogs, barking dogs.
You don't have to call us all dogs here, Michelle.
That was classic, Michelle. You had to open back up to explain that, because otherwise it would have been like, I'm surrounded by dogs.
Yeah,
That was classic. Oh, that's great. Anybody else before we turn it over to Amanda and the speakers?
Thank you guys so much. I just love being a part of the room, and I love the relationships that have started here. Thanks for the birthday song.
Maybe it's Amanda instead of Amanda that'll take it over.
Let's see if she can handle it. If she can't, Amanda, are you there?
I am. Sorry, we're in the middle of driving to Florida, and so I'm just getting in the car. So I'm definitely here. And
Okay.
So are we going back up to Jen or what?
Yeah, let's do it. I just want to get Brad out there and get that song on the table as part of our creative process this morning. Now we can go jump around and see who else is here.
Yeah, maybe Tone, if you could do